about you is that you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? I got to get that intro fixed. As you can see, we added the audio of the homie Mike McDaniel talking up to Tua right there. So we got to get that one fixed up. I got to get that expanded a little bit. So I'll get that fixed up for the next show. But that was the new intro we got rolling. We'll have that fixed up for the next show, though. To be honest with you, I just uploaded it and I didn't even take a second guess about it because it was fine when I had it open or whatever earlier. But appreciate all y'all for coming in. We already got 193 of you in the room. Appreciate all y'all for joining. And we're gonna get into that clip. We're gonna get into all this, man. Drew Boo's like, run that back. Drew Boo, the problem with that is the size of it, man. I got to expand it. I can play it again. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to play the clip in a bit. I want to get that I want to get that sorted out. Shout out to Griffin Gaming. He became a YouTube member just now. Appreciate you, man. Already got 252 in the room, man. Appreciate that. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new, man. I'm hitting my man up right now and I'm saying, yo, and my graphic guy, I'm saying, let's get this fixed, B. So we'll get that fixed. Definitely. But how's everyone doing, man? Tuesday. You know, it's funny, man. You go on these different Twitter and all this stuff, and all these people out here, man. Like, I swear, some people out here, all they have in their life is Twitter, and it's sad, man. It's sad, bro. Some people just want to matter so much on Twitter and the Dolphins community. It's funny to me, man. It's funny to me. You know, it's not about wanting to matter. It's about making yourself matter, right? That's the best advice I can give anyone out here, because actually even, I had someone hit me up and they were like, the whole thing they were asking me was reason. They saw that I had 1,100 people, in here a couple of nights ago, and like, how can I get my channel to that? And I told them, like, it's not about how many times you go live. It's not about any of that stuff, man. It's about the quality of content you bring. Like, if you bring good quality content, people are going to come back. Like, that's just with anything out there, any product, any business, whatever the case may be, as long as if you produce something worth people's time or worth people's money or whatever the case, whatever industry you're in, people are going to keep coming back, man. And, I'm out here just trying to do my best to give you guys something worth coming back to, right? That's all I'm trying to do. And, I get that there's always going to be people out there trying to tear people down and, whatever the case may be. And that's cool with me, because at the end of the day, man, listen, if you ain't got haters, you ain't doing anything right. So in whatever you're doing right now, if, you got people with issues with you, or just people that, is clear envy, jealousy going on, and whatever you're doing, man, just remember, all that happens. The reason why that happens is because, hey, people are always going to see you at different levels in life being successful, and there's always going to be people out there that want to tear you down and bring you down to their level. And hey, you can throw a quick barb here and there, you could throw a quick jab, but especially Dolphins Twitter over the last 2 years has taught me one thing. Go ahead and say a few things if you want to, so stick up for yourself, but all these people out here, they aren't worth time. You know why? Because some of these people, that's all they have in life. And that's with anything, Facebook. Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be. That's some of these people, that's all they have in life, right? So, me, hey, let's be honest, man. If my Twitter got shut down tomorrow and my YouTube got shut down tomorrow, I'm still going to have my wife and kids, and I'm still going to have a life outside of this. And, some people out here, they can't even say they have that. So, hey, you know what I do? I just focus on me, myself, and I, sticking in my lane, and I keep racking up W's. And that's all I do, man. That's all I'm worried about, is racking up dubs and bringing you guys the best content possible. Because at the end of the day, listen, all these people don't matter out here, man. All these people don't matter. What matters is the people like you who come check me out, who come hit that like button, who subscribe to me. If you want to donate, awesome. But you people are the people that matter. None of these people out here. James Steele says, Reason, you're the best. Always love your content. What do you think of my idea to let Gesicki walk and convert Mac Hollins to a hybrid tight end wide receiver? I agree, man. I know that would make EM real happy, because he's been on that tight end bandwagon for quite some time now with Mac Hollins. So I know that would make him real excited. I think, I'm going to be doing a show on, players I think McDaniel should keep and players I think McDaniel should walk, and Mac Hollins is on that keep list. I'm gonna tell you right now, Mac Hollins is on that list. And Fanatical says, I had to unsub from a few channels. They come to talk. Listen, bro, there's toxicity everywhere. There's people out here crapping on the McDaniel hire. There's people out here, there's already people lining up for their victory lap if McDaniel fails. Like, it's ridiculous. The amount of miserable people out here. Like, how do you call yourself a fan of your team and you're constantly rooting for the quarterback to fail so you can say I was right? How are you constantly, how are you now rooting against the coach just so you can turn around and say these people would rather be right than our team win? See, there's a fine line between, wanting to be right or being out there to prove you're right. Like, that's fine, but then there's a thin line between that and, putting your own agenda before the team. And a lot of people do that and it's not even like you see it on Twitter, you see it on, like, look at all the people that hopped on McDaniel and Tua today after McDaniel. And there's people out there actually questioning if I'm the conductor of the McDaniel train. First of all, not everything that happens in the Dolphins community is just on Twitter. Second of all, if you want to stick to just Twitter, I've got tweets from January 14th, 2021 from me saying I wanted Mike McDaniel here as the OC. So I've wanted Mike McDaniel for over a calendar year. Are we really having this? But people out here, they take offense because your tweet gets a couple hundred likes and their tweet gets like 10. So they got to come out here and, like, people can't differentiate things I'm hearing between, like, if people are following my Patreon. See, here's the thing. If you're going to call out my sources as a Patreon follower. Don't call out my sources as just some guy on Twitter, because I don't put that much shit on Twitter. All right? I don't. I really don't. There's way more on Patreon than there is on Twitter. So, I mean, hey, if you want to go pay me to go try and disprove me on Patreon, knock yourself out. You know what I'm saying? But, like, don't come out here thinking Twitter receipts are the end all be all with a guy who's got Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and a Patreon. It's not how it works, man. You can't pick and choose and try to spin a narrative. Reason ain't going to allow that, right? Reason is not going to allow that. Speaking of the Patreon, I know I said I was going to do that Jalen Waddle film study, and it's coming, but it's just been pushed back because of this freaking coaching search. I did not expect this coaching search to be the way it's gone, but here we are. And then now I got to start getting into draft season and free agency and draft. I got to start getting ahead of the draft. So draft stuff's going to be coming right in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Draft stuff's going to be coming, and free agency stuff is about to probably start ramping up here too for my channel. So I'm gonna try and I'm gonna fit the Jalen Waddle in there. It's coming, but Patreon's channel members, you'll get first access to that. Finn's Weekly, your Patreon really impressed me. Definitely recommend it for anyone who appreciate you, man. And people got to realize, like, not everything I'm putting out there, everything I put out there isn't 110% going to happen. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff is a fluid process, but people want to say the McDaniel thing. That was the first time I ever put a timestamp or a time frame on me saying something like that was going to happen. And that was from the same source who told me back in January 22nd, that the Dolphins were being coy about how much they really liked Mike McDaniel, and they were letting on to the media how much they really liked him. So that source ended up being pretty dead on, clearly, by the end of it. So yeah, smash that like button, guys. There's already 480 of you. If you'd like to donate, paypal.me/Finside. Become a Finside the NFL Patreon, patreon.com/Finside the NFL. You can hit the join button down below to become a member. You can also check out my podcast with Richard Webb and Ballgame, and also my podcast with Neil Driscoll. The links are down below. I'll be recording my new episode with Neil Driscoll tonight. So we'll be pumping. That should be up by tomorrow. Again, if you'd like to donate, you can also do so paypal.me/Finside. There's the Patreon link. The Patreon, the PayPal, direct link to the channel membership. It's all down below. Go ahead, click it. All right, so we're gonna start off. This is gonna be a Mike McDaniel centric show. But I got a couple other things I want to throw in at the end. I got a couple articles I want to look over. Yeah, and then obviously some of you may not know the first offensive coordinator candidate has been announced. We'll talk about that. There's other names floating around out there that we'll talk about as well. So we got quite a bit to go over here in regards to just Mike McDaniel alone. I think it's going to be pretty Mike McDaniel centric for the next little bit. That wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. Let's get into this. So let's start off with the video that set everyone on ablaze. A lot of people hopping back on the Tua train, a lot of people hopping on the Mike McDaniel train for the first time. Pretty interesting stuff. It was a good little clip. The Dolphins media team has done a pretty good job since the hire of pumping him out there. So let's see this. Let's get into this. And let's start off with the first video here. It's Mike McDaniel, and he is it's him on the plane. He's talking to a tongue of a low. They're FaceTiming, and man, it's just he's such a laid back, cool guy. It's awesome, man. It really is. Let's bring this up here.
Just had to get on with you real quick. We're gonna have an extensive professional relationship, my man. One thing I know about you is you have the ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you. And it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be work, but I know you're not afraid of that. So this is an awesome day for me, and I'm damn sure gonna make sure that when you look back on this day, you're going to be like, damn, that was one of the best days of my career too. Okay? But I'll earn that from you. You got me? No, since you can't hear him, there's a camera on us right now. Since you can't hear him, he's telling me how excited he is, and that there's no other coach he'd rather play for in the entire world, which I thought was nice. This is the first time I've really talked to him.
This guy's trolling.
I'm elated, bro. It is an unbelievable opportunity for me that I do not plan on wasting in the slightest. I promise you that. I'm all in. You're going to get the best out of me that you could possibly get. There's only one way to do anything great. So, and there's no shortcuts. So let's go do something that's worth doing. It's on, bro. If you don't have eye black at home, you better go get some eye black, because we're going. It'll be outstanding, dude. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for myself. And I think the Dolphins fans should be happy as well.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I love it. The joking demeanor, Already calling him bro, like the eye black comment. I mean, how can you not like this guy? Someone out there, how can you not like this guy, man? I'm sorry. I just don't get it. How can you not be excited by this? How can you not be hyped about the possibility and the potential right now? Like, man, this guy, I don't know. I don't know. I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped. Like, how can you not be excited for this, man? Tell me how you can't be. Shout out to Angel. He says, I'm a Bucks fan, but my brother was a diehard Dolphin fan. Unfortunately, my bro passed away on Saturday due to unexpected heart attack. I always had to respect the Finns and their fans. Good luck this upcoming season. Angel, man, my guy, I appreciate the donation, but you didn't have to make it, my friend, just to get your message out of here. Like, I would have given you the floor on that message alone. Can you please drop your brother's name, man? Because, yo, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate the donation, but also appreciate you sharing your story in a non-Buccaneers chat, man. Like, my condolences and my heart goes out to you, Angel. That is absolutely terrible. I'm so sorry that your brother is no longer with us, my friend. I hope you can, the sun is going to shine sooner rather than later. The days may be dark, but trust me, the clouds will part, the sun will shine, and it'll shine right down on your face, and that'll be your brother looking down on you. I appreciate you, man. Sorry to hear that. Griffin says, been defending Tua for my friends, not Dolphin fans, but they're mad Tua haters. I can't wait for Tua to McDecimate the opposing defense. Fins up. That's a good one, man. To McDecimate. This guy. That's hilarious. Philip Leduc, how would you feel if the Finns go Sam Howell in the first round, which would be insane after McDaniel hire? Bro, don't do that to me. Don't put that energy on me. You all know how much I love Sam Howell. Don't put that energy on me. I'm looking to see if Angels replied here with the name of his brother, guys. Just give me a sec. He said, I'm always watching. I love your channel. I love Tua and McDaniel. Hopefully they kill it. My respect. Appreciate you, Angel. Thank you very much, sir. I'm just trying to look if you had a tweet message before that with your brother's name so I can shout him out specifically. So just give me a sec, guys, while I look for this. See if there was another message from him. Yeah, I want his name in the chat, Angel, just so I can shout him out, man. I don't see it. Look here. Keep looking. Sorry, guys. Just give me one sec. Anthony, man, you know what, bro? Appreciate the donation, Angel. You didn't have to, but in lieu of, and even if you didn't donate, I still would have anyways. And shout out to Anthony, man. Like, losing a Dolphin, even when we don't know him, that's always a part of the family. And, I'm so sorry that, Angel, you and your family are going through this loss. Hopefully, the Dolphins can win a couple and more than a couple in his honor this season, man. I appreciate you, Anthony. And I hope wherever you are right now, up above, I hope while you're looking down the season, the Dolphins make you proud. For real. Thank you, Angel. I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you. All right. That said, let's man, always tough to move on from terrible news like that. That said, let's move on here for a sec. Let's keep going with McDaniel because, guys, in case you didn't see today, he actually had, I mean, I guess you could call it an interview. It's not really an interview, but it is an interview. He had his first little, I guess, media availability, let's call it, with the Miami Dolphins that they released today. Hold on a sec here, guys. Let me get this set up. And I'm going to play it for you guys in case you have not had a chance to see it yet. So, because I know not all of you guys, have all day to sit around trying to look at stuff on different social media platforms. So that's why I bring you guys the news directly to your doorstep. So it's a one-stop shop. So let me show this to you guys. This was Mike McDaniel's first little, let's call it media session, his first sit down since he was named Dolphins coach.
Fans, I'm Joanna Torres, and we are here with our new head coach, Mike McDaniel. Welcome to Miami.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Day one as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. How are you feeling today?
I feel pretty good. I feel like there's a lot that there's to do ahead, but honestly, it's just it's awesome to take things one day at a time. The people in the building are great. You look forward to this moment your whole career, and then to be here in this place with these people, I couldn't be happier.
Amazing. Well, you came to the Dolphins with 15 years of experience at the NFL level. How has your journey prepared you for this moment, for this opportunity?
Well, there's in each year, every fan knows that every season there's highs and lows, there's things that happen, there's injuries, there's setbacks, there's successes. So every year, every team really is just a different learning lesson. So you want to be prepared when you get your opportunities such as this. So the best thing each year has afforded me is more reps for this moment, which I'm ready to take on with vigor.
Well, you're taking over a team that's posted back-to-back winning seasons with a young core talent on the roster. What excites you most about this team?
The fact that there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of youth energy, but there's also a lot of coaching to be done, which is, I'm not sure if you checked my title, but there's a coach in it. So as a coach, that's all you want. You want the opportunity to build the culture of guys that are willing and able, and it's the best thing that you could hope for, is having a bunch of talent that is ready to go to work, which is all we have and all we're ready to do.
What would you say is the Mike McDaniel coach football team is what?
I think the biggest thing for me is I want a product that all the fans, anybody that's turning on the television, they can see our brand of football where we have a team that really puts maximum effort out there, that really challenges the opponent, but you feel a team when people really play together, and you see a group of 53 men really working towards one goal. It's something that's inspiring, and that's what we hope to do, is inspire people with our play, and ultimately we want to win football games, and that's what we're going to do.
Amazing. Well, lastly, we saw the pictures, we saw the videos of your journey over here to Miami, and the fans want to know, we all want to know, what exactly were you listening to in your headphones on your journey here to Miami?
Best answer ever. Here we go.
I mean, what else would I be listening to other than Pitbull, maybe some throwback Will Smith, Welcome to Miami,
Okay.
I got to keep you guessing, so I'll give you 2 songs of the playlist, not the entire playlist.
Very Miami, very appropriate. I love it.
Outstanding.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. We're so excited to have you, and welcome to Miami.
It was my pleasure. Happy to be here and ready to get started.
Let's go. Thank
right.
you.
I love my head coach. I wanted this man in this building for over a year. And to now see him sitting there as the head coach is like surreal for me. Like, I wanted him or Pep Hamilton as our OC last year, and now to see him sitting here as our coach, it's like blowing my mind every time. Like, this guy is. I loved our head coach, man. Clemson Eagle says, "What's up, reason you should watch McDaniel's video about wide receiver run blocking, bro? DM it to me. I'll put it up. I got a couple videos I'm collecting that I want to show everyone. I don't know if you guys have seen the video of him giving lessons on just like play fakes. You know what I mean? Like when you see the video from QB Collective of him giving lessons on play fakes, and it's just like, he understands all the small details. And then when you look at the coach, when you look at the guys that he's had under him, you know what I mean? It's, in terms of like when he was coaching at the QB Collective, like I know guys like Justin Fields were under him. DJU of Clemson was under him. There was a bunch of other guys too, like big good names that were under him when he was at the QB collective. Like the guy's just smart. And he's so detail oriented that it's stupid. Like that's the most impressive thing about him is how detail oriented he is. Like nothing gets past this guy. And that's what has me so excited about him. When I looked into him last year when we had our OC candidates and I really started researching him, I was like, I want this guy. I'm like, this guy is the star of the freaking Shanahan tree. And then we see his first year as an OC, he ends up being a star. And I'm like, and I got to give credit where it's credit's due. If people do their research, that was Chris Grier who wanted to bring him in the building. That wasn't Brian Flores. Here's the video I'm talking to you guys about in regards to listen to him just teaching these young quarterbacks about play action and selling a good fake. Like it's really impressive. All right. And this is from like 5-6 years ago. Just he's explaining the purpose behind play action and selling the fake. Watch this. Look how
this
smart
stuff is all. You step right there. You clear the fullback. The second you clear the fullback, you extend the football. If you have no fullback, extend that shit for days. Okay? You're showing the defense, you're showing it's out there, and they got to determine. The back takes an open crossover roll step downhill, and we show, and then right when you get to the mesh point, snap. Google Tom Brady play action. You'll see aggressive snaps. Matt Ryan does awesome. Show, snap. Set up. 3 S's. Boom. Okay? But all of that is to get these guys in a bind. If you can get your players to fit these guys at the mesh point, they got no chance. They're going to choose to take on the block, and then they can't react. That's the idea.
Like just details and the way he breaks it down. Like we've shown so many clips. Here's the thing. When people compare him to Gase or Cameron or Philbin, show me clips of them teaching. Show me clips of them being a good teacher. I've shown multiple clips on this channel of Mike McDaniel, examples of him being a very good teacher. Show me that. Like show me this guy teaching people. And the thing is, you can't. The guy is just so detail oriented that you gotta appreciate it, man. So, I mean, and that's just an example. Like, I'm not here trying to blow you guys away with this. I'm just showing an example of him teaching. Because what he said right there wasn't groundbreaking or earth-shattering or world-changing. But it's how he's explaining it. It's how he's breaking it down. He just comes off as a very good teacher. And so some names who were just in that bunch that he was teaching was Justin Fields, DJU from Clemson, Bryce Young. I think there was a couple other names too. So like there were some good quarterbacks there in that QB collective session listening to Mike McDaniel. So he's just a good teacher. And JP on Sports says it right there. He breaks it down and simplifies it. That's what it is. Like it's not overly complex stuff, but he's just good at teaching it. You know what I mean? He just comes off as a really good teacher. And guys, here's the thing. Forget Flores. Go back to Chad O'Shea, guys. We've needed a good teacher on the offensive side of the ball since Chad O'Shea, right? They got rid of Chad O'Shea because he wasn't a good teacher. Had a complex system, wasn't a good teacher. Chan Gailey comes in, has a simplified system, but he got no use for teaching. He wants to roll with Fitzpatrick. He wants to win. Last year, we have Godsey and Stoodsville. I mean, you know, one thing I was continuously bitching about was the lack of creativity. We only saw it in spurts, right? Now we went and got one of the most creative minds out there. You know, and Godsey and Stoodsville, I cannot comment on whether they were good teachers or something because I don't have info like I did on Gailey and Chad O'Shea in regards to that. But did anyone get better on the offense? It doesn't look like there was any good teachers on the offense. The whole offensive line regressed. They couldn't figure out how to use Waddle for like 9 weeks. The running game was a joke. Gaskin didn't get better this year. Ahmed didn't get better this year. Everyone on the offensive side of the ball regressed, except Tua regressed in certain areas, but he didn't overall regress. And Waddle didn't have a chance to regress. This is his first year, so we can't judge regression until next year. Tua was really, if you think about year 2 guys, Tua was him and Robert Hunt were the only ones really keeping their head above water, if you really want to talk about it. And that's, again, not impressive, not earth-shattering. Tua didn't blow the atmosphere up. You know what I mean? Like I said, in November, he looked like a top 15 quarterback. Right? Then we hit a stretch in December there on those final 4 games. Well, 3 out of the final 4 games, it wasn't so hot and it was very underwhelming. So, I mean, I'll say he kept his head above water because he had that November month. And who would have known what would have happened if he would have never been banged up held out by Brian Flores. But anyways, I mean, you go look at this. Like, finally just forget about Tua. Austin Jackson's going to get better coaching if he sticks around. Robert Hunt's going to get better coaching if he sticks around. Michael Dieter's going to get better coaching if he sticks around. Waddle's going to get better coaching. Whatever running back makes it out of that group and sticks around will get better coaching. You know? You don't even have to focus on one player. The whole offense is going to get better coaching. Now it's about getting Vic Fangio and getting good coaching on the defense. And the Fangio agenda has taken one more step in the right direction, my friends. And that step is the Giants hired Wink Martindale today. And if you remember, Wink Martindale and Fangio were the 2 frontrunners for the DC job in New York. And you know, now with this, let's be honest here. Vic Fangio, it seems, South Florida might be a reality for Vic Fangio right now if he wants to be a defensive coordinator this year. So, and I got to give Dable credit. Between Kafka and Martindale, Dable did a damn good job. He's put together a good staff so far. I got to give Dable credit. And that was, you know, I originally had Dable at 6, and I said, okay, I'll bump him up a little bit when we heard Martindale and Dorsey. But pretty good staff. I got to give Dable props. He put together a damn good staff. So let's get back. And I already have it, Rome Gray. I already have what you're talking about lined up. Let's get back. And, you know, here's the thing, man. Let's go get Vic Fangio. The thing about that is he would be one step around. He would be taking the step towards success Flores never took when he got here. I mean, he did with Caldwell, but he kind of ran him out of town. And then he ran Flaherty, the offensive line coach, out of town. But the thing here is hiring a veteran head coach, defensive coach on the side of the ball that is McDaniel's weakness, that's a smart move. And Fangio is arguably on the Mount Rushmore in the league currently of defensive minds. Or you can make the argument. His problem in Denver was he couldn't get the quarterback right. But to bring someone in like that who can not only handle that side of the ball, first of all, no ego, not overly prideful, admitting, hey, I can bring in a veteran to take care of the defense. And then you bring in a guy who has head coaching experience that you can lean on when things get rough, when things get tumultuous, when it gets muddy, when you got to go through the mud, when the waves are rocky. I like it, man. That's smart. To me, that's smart. And that shows foresight that you have to appreciate. Because listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if Flores would have taken this initiative and got this right from the rip with his OC, we would have had 2 playoff appearances in the last 2 years in a row. And guess what? Even though Flores was a jerk to people, they would have said, we're getting to the playoffs with him. Let it slide. Winning cures all. People are trying to say, oh, Tua was a winner. Flores was a winner. Bro, Tua, Flores, DVP, they're all not winners in the NFL level yet. They haven't even got to the playoffs. See, winning record, I get how people are going to correlate winner with winning record, but come on, we need some substance to that winning record. So you're telling me if a guy, let's just say a guy over 5 years, okay? So that's 85 games, all right? Let's just say, for argument purposes, okay, that guy won what? Let's say they won 10 games a year. So they were 50 and 35. Okay? But they never made the playoffs. Is that guy a winner? Tell me right now, are you a winner if you go 50 and 35 as a coach or player, but you've never made the playoffs? Are you a winner? I'm really interested to see what people have to say in regards to this. So I'll give you a moment. Maybe I just got a different definition of winning. I don't know. But so if you're 50 and 35, so you have a winning record and you're 15 games over 500, but you've never made the playoffs, are you a winner? Nope. No. 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 Nope. No. Okay, so we're pretty much in a... Oh, so Florida Don says yes. Okay. I agree with Rhino. Participation trophy. I'm not here. Listen, if second place is the first loser, what the hell is 15th? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Or 17th, right? Because, yeah, 15th pick, 32 teams. So 17th, let's say, this year. Are we crazy right now? Are we so used to mediocrity as Dolphin fans that a winning record makes us a winner? Come on now. Stop lying to ourselves. So let's go bring Vic Fangio in. Let's turn this bad boy around. And I loved what McDaniel said in his little interview earlier. First of all, when he said, you know, my title has coach in it, I laughed. Second of all, when he said, welcome to Miami, all I know is my guy's got more drip than a leaky faucet. And third of all, when he says, you know, we want to win games and a lot of them, I don't know why. I believe him more than guys in, like, I believed Flores and we won games with Flores. Right? Like, I never believed in Gase. I'll tell you a story right now. And people who have watched this channel know this for time. I believed in Flores the most since any coach since Sperano. And then when I started getting plugged in last year and I started talking to people in the summertime is really when it started turning for me because I just started hearing how he really was. And I was like, oh shit, this guy isn't that nice of a person. Damn. And so I kind of fell back on it a little bit, but I still believed him, like, you know, in his introductory press conference that he's going to change things and blah, 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 blah. I believe Mike McDaniel more. And maybe it's because I've wanted this guy for so long now. But I don't know. Like, I look at this guy, I look at the tree he's come from, and you know me, I always try to connect dots and such. And when you connect the dots and you're like, this is the guy Shanahan coveted the most. His father literally said, here, son, take Mike. Take him along your journey as an NFL coach or coordinator. And it's like, you got to be a pretty special mind and a pretty special person for you to get handed down from one of the best coaches to ever coach the game in Mike Shanahan to his son, because you know Mike Shanahan wanted his son to be more successful than anyone in the league. Same thing with Don Shula and Mike Shula. It's the same thing. Obviously, you want your kin to be more successful than anyone else. So Mike wouldn't steer Kyle wrong. And it's like, and when you just start sitting back and thinking about it, and then you start researching what he did in Washington, and you start researching, you know, what he's done in San Francisco, how he really got on Mike Shanahan's radar and why he got a promotion after being an intern. When you start looking into all this stuff, you're like, God damn. We got someone special here. And to have the foresight that Wink Martindale can come in and take care of that ball, that side of the ball that he hasn't perfected, where he can come in and he can lean on him. I hope he gets Fangio. I'm praying he gets Fangio because I truly believe if this man lands Fangio, that will be such a huge step towards a successful first season that it cannot be understated. The significance of a move like that, Ross needs to be throwing his paybook at whoever. His paycheck book, he needs to throw it at Fangio's face and says, write your number. Because I'm telling you, I've said this from the moment I wanted McDaniel as our head coach. And it's why I wanted him as an OC. He's going to get the offense right. I'm not worried about that. It's about getting the defense right so there's no hiccup. There's no lapse. And he's coming from a team that runs predominantly zone. And think of the foresight he has to go to get Fangio, because he knows Fangio can work with whatever personnel you give him. And how is this not an appealing job to Fangio? You're pushing 65, so lunch is about to start at 4:30, and it's South Florida, baby. Come on down. Vic, I'll pick you up from the airport. Let me know when you're landing. I will fly down just to pick you up from the airport and drive you to the facility. Maybe we can get a milkshake on the way. If you're watching your waist, we'll go get a smoothie. JP on Sports, loving the input you've had in the chat so far tonight, bro. Shanahan's trees produced Kyle. It produced Kubiak, who won a Super Bowl. It produced LaFleur. It produced McVay. People think McDaniel could exceed them all. And my friend, Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor did not get a job until he was a positional coach under who? Sean McVay. What does that mean? He's linked back to the Shanahan tree. Let's go, baby. Jason Myers. Yeah, we'll go get a Wawa shake. We'll go get a Wawa shake. And then we're going to get that chicken tender sub from Publix, baby. And then I'm dropping you off. We getting the chicken tendy sub. And we getting a milkshake. Then I'm dropping you off. Let's go, baby. That's what it is. Let's go. Fangio, come on down. You can't spell Finn, F-I-N, without the F, the I, and the N in Fangio. Come on down, baby. Let's go. I believe. All right. Continuing on. Let's keep rolling. Don't worry, Rome. I got that tweet you said earlier you're talking about. I already got that lined up, baby. Yo, Reason already a couple steps ahead of the game, son. I never slipping on my pimp and slacking on my mackin'. Trust me, never that. All right, so the name that's coming out right now, the Dolphins are interviewing Falcons quarterback coach Charles London for the offensive coordinator position. According to Josh Kendall, the Dolphins will interview Falcons quarterback coach Charles London for their offensive coordinator vacancy. New Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel has an offensive background and presumably will call plays, but this is still an important hire. London, 46, got his start in coaching at Duke in 2004. His first NFL job came with the Bears as an offensive quality control coach in 2007. He had a stint with the Titans and in the Eagles front office as a scout before returning to college as the running back coach at Penn State, and we know who's come out of there. London returned to the NFL as a running back coach for the Texans in 2014. He left for the same position with the Bears in 2018 and joined the Falcons as their quarterback coach in 2021. So, I mean, this is a man that obviously is highly regarded. If he's the first name we're hearing right now, Charles London's got to be highly regarded. He's worked with running backs, he works with quarterbacks, and Penn State's, they've produced some decent running backs. Now I don't believe he was. Let me double check. I don't believe he was there when Saquon was there. Let me double check for you. I do not believe that is the case. So he was 2012 to 2013. Huh? So he was there in 2012 to 2013. But there is going to be a tie-in we're going to get to here in a sec. Don't worry. And because there's an Atlanta tie-in, right? So yeah, way before Saquon. The tie-in in here, though, my friends, is Cordarrelle Patterson. That's where the tie-in is. The tie-in we're going to start seeing is between Cordarrelle Patterson. And it's going to start, you're going to start seeing the pieces come in place. Now, if you watched the show yesterday, we talked about this when I was up here yesterday with the homie Eric Crocker. We were talking about this. And, I still do think like Wes Welker is in play and even John Embry are in play. This is just the first guy named, so I wouldn't put everything in it as like, this is the guy. But you got to remember Charles London was the running back coach in Chicago when Cordarrelle Patterson was there in 2019 and 2020. He was also a big reason why Patterson signed with Atlanta. So, it was clearly obvious that Patterson already made sense in this offense. Pre-London, now after London, Cordarrelle Patterson makes even more sense. Now that's if they hire him. Now, I said yesterday, I made my top 10 free agent target list on Saturday, and Cordarrelle Patterson was on it. So, maybe I might have to bump him up because right now I didn't have my number one. I had him I had him at the bottom. I had him at 10. I had him at 10 actually on my list, so he's gonna probably get bumped up a little there, right? So Cordarrelle Patterson makes a lot of sense if Charles London comes from. And, you know, you still got to remember Wes Welker is going to be in this. Rich Scangarello is going to be involved here. I think John Embry's still going to be involved. There's still going to be guys from the 49ers that might come over here in some capacity, right? So we'll see how it rolls. You know, what if he makes what if he names a guy like London the offensive coordinator, but then Wes Welker's like the pass game coordinator, right? And then he goes and gets a run game coordinator. So it's going to have to play out a little bit here, and we'll start putting our finger on another name that I saw that in the interest of, showing you guys that you should have your eye on, and the connection is to Yale. And this is from an Atlanta Falcons guy. Another Falcons related name to keep an eye on for McDaniel's coaching staff is Miami, is the assistant offensive line coach, Chandler Henley. McDaniel and Henley were teammates together at Yale. Remember, Mike McDaniel, he played wide receiver. He played wide receiver at Yale, right? So, it's a buddies league, right? So there you go, right there. That's another name to potentially watch. And he could be looking for a promotion. Clearly, obviously. But yeah, that is another name to watch in the Yale connection. It makes sense. Now, he was a quality control coach for the Tennessee Titans. He primarily worked with the offensive line in Tennessee. And he did work with the running backs too, as well. He worked with the offensive line and the running backs when he was a quality control coach at Tennessee. So, and I believe that's the story. So another interesting name to keep your eye on that could be part of this cycle, because names are going to keep coming. Now, in regards to Mike McDaniel and Deebo Samuel, according to Peter King, I apologize. Deebo Samuel would spend every Tuesday morning in Mike McDaniel's office going over the install for the upcoming week. Samuel also reached out to Miami to recommend Mike McDaniel for the job. So there you go. You got big words being put in. Let's get some reactions to the hire, though. Let's start looking at what some people are saying. And I think shout out to the $4.99 donation. Reason, please say a prayer for my boy Thomas Corona. He got gender reassignment surgery and isn't doing good. Fins up. I will say a prayer for your boy Thomas Corona, bro. I don't know whether you're trolling me or not right now. I think you're trolling me, bro. But if you're not trolling me, then I'm saying a prayer, but I do think you're trolling me. So, another Yale tie, linebacker Olokun, Falcons free agent. There you go. The missing link. People out here trying to. Oh man, Rhino Logan, you know why I'm laughing right now. You guys know why your boy is laughing right now. That's all I'm gonna say. If that's a terrible troll, though, if you did that, that was awful. You're not gonna get me canceled in 2021 because you're insensitive. So if that is real, prayers up. If that's not real, I mean, thanks for the $4.99, I guess. Okay, let's get into some reactions. Now, I wanted to play 2 clips from Pat McAfee today. And let's play those, and then we're going to get into what Chris Grier and what Stephen Ross had to say. I mean, hey, if you're a betting man, what's the over-under right now on Chris Grier not showing up? Sorry, on Stephen Ross not showing up. Someone let me know. All right, so this is him basically talking about Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel. Let's hear what they had to say.
Wondered if he was potentially getting fucked. Because whenever Fitz is starting, Tua's there. Then when Tua becomes the starter, it's unannounced. Fitz is heartbroken publicly. Yeah. He lets all of the Dolph fam know that although we're on a run and we're winning and you all love me right now, I didn't know this was coming. I'm not happy about it. Also letting the locker room know that, hey, Fitz, you're trigger man, not happy about this. So Tua is immediately dropped into an absolutely terrible situation. So then Tua starts playing. How you doing? Keep it moving until it's an important time of the game. Then all of a sudden, Tua, we need you back on the sideline. Let the old Harvard brain who loves going fast down water slides, let him get in here and handle this whole thing. So we literally have been talking since the beginning of Tua's career. Is this dude ever going to get a chance to be great? Is he going to get a chance to be great? Now we're hearing that the owner was potentially paying the coach $100,000 to lose. Yeah. He was getting screwed this entire time. Tua might be the greatest quarterback of all time. We have no idea.
He is.
He might be, and then Watson right after that, and then even this year. That was the rumor. They wanted to get him, and then this year against the Ravens on Thursday Night Football, they start Jacoby Brissett, and then Tua comes in after and starts slinging it all over the yard.
Yeah, Tua has had the mental toughness of something that I've never experienced or understood, and I wish I could be as mentally tough. But it sounds like Mike McDaniel is all in on the Tua train.
Yeah,
it sounds like just from and also the Dolphins are as well, because remember the Dolphins released that Tua had no injuries to his ribs. He decided to tap out.
Right.
Painting a picture that he was soft, so he got benched. He got into awkward PR situations. He had the team was releasing that he wasn't hurt whenever he was, turns out he did have a hairline fracture in his ribs or whatever. He was actually hurt. It's just all the cards have been stacked against Tua, it feels like, from a PR standpoint. And now the Dolphins are releasing videos of McDaniel saying, hey, we're going to be great together. We're going to do that. It really feels like quite a shift here, AJ.
Tua's had to deal with more stuff behind the scenes than any of us know. So the fact that he's able to play as well as he has at times is pretty impressive. But with McDaniels coming in, I'm sure when they interviewed him, each interview candidate, they said, all right, what's your plan for Tua? What's your plan for a quarterback for our offense? And I'm sure McDaniels he probably wowed him, probably had a 4-hour presentation on how he's going to use him. And, hey, this is what Tua does best. This is what he doesn't do. This is what I'm going to do and work with him.
Think about that Yale pitch deck.
I would love, honestly, I would like to watch him, talk through. I become a football nerd listening to those guys that are geniuses talk about how they're going to attack defenses. I think that's fun.
Which is why people like the Manning cast, by the way. Similar type situation. This is a Yale-type brain who's been in there and innovated offenses. And the fact that he is given a pitch right after maybe some 90-year-old White is I would imagine that's two very different things.
Spot the lie. Where was Pat McAfee telling the lie? Look, we've talked about the mental toughness and all this stuff, and everyone's always labeled it as excuses. These guys are out here praising him for what he's put up with. And this is a former NFL player. Are we really So this is what they had to say about, if you're a Dolphins fan, you got to be fired up about the Mike McDaniel hire.
McDaniels might be the perfect hire for Miami.
Yeah.
There's conversation being released from the plane ride where Mike McDaniels is talking to Tua. He's like, hey, it's going to take a lot of work. We're going to be great, though. And then Mike McDaniels has this thing from 15 years ago that Darlington is reporting that is basically him writing out his goals and aspirations, basically saying my big-ass Yale brain with my personality can become one of the greatest coaches of all time and become a world champion. Now it's all coming true down in Miami. What a hire for the Miami Dolphins. He's young. What's this going to be like if they lose? Is he gonna?
It's either going to be awesome or it's going to be really bad, right? He's going to create a coaching tree where everyone hires off of him, or it just doesn't go that great.
Well, and I don't think they're going to lose. Listen, I think they're going to have success. They're going to be good, but I do enjoy MCDC. We were excited to see what MCDC was going to do. After they go 0-14, 0-15,
right?
How much of the gulp,
kneecaps?
How much of kneecap? What are you going to transition into when things aren't all glorious?
Yeah.
But I think Mike McDaniel's big brain, great personality. Everybody likes him. He's been through hard times with Shanahan and big time losses, big time wins. I think he's more prepared than ever. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Dolph fam is very pumped about Mike McDaniel, right?
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Do you like the him keeping the defensive staff on of a very good defensive football team?
Yeah, why not? I think that's great. It's all Tua. It depends how Tua plays. Yeah, what does Tua do? That's going to be a large part of his success or not.
Does Tua stink? I don't think Tua stinks.
I don't think he stinks either.
Goffey doesn't think he stinks. I don't think Tua stinks at all.
Jalen Waddle is unbelievable. And McDaniels is there's that stat every year that he's been with the team, the first year with that team, the quarterback does unbelievable, and the things that he can draw up in the run game.
Hey, incredible basketball jersey.
Thank you. This is actually my new favorite jersey, but tomorrow that'll be my new favorite jersey because it's the next jersey.
Nice.
Oh, so you're talking Super Bowl rings like you're Tom Brady.
My next one. My favorite jersey, my next one.
Right there. You got to be hyped. People love this hire, man. How can you not like this? How can you not like this? I'm telling you. And then the switch off is real right there. You're right, Ronnie. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Let's see what Grier and Ross had to say in regards to the hire. Here we go. So here's what Chris Grier had to say. We are excited about the addition of Mike McDaniel as our next head coach. He is a smart, innovative football mind, but he is much more than that. He excels in developing people, consistently bringing out the best in his players. We've talked to a lot of the people around the league when conducting the search, and each one praised Mike for his football intelligence, creativity, and for who he is as a person and a leader. We believe in him and are excited for the future of the Miami Dolphins with Mike leading the way. I'm telling you, absolutely love this. But I don't like how we got to wait to get a presser because of the Super Bowl. That's basically what I believe is going on right now. Is it's because the Super Bowl, they don't want to stomp on the Super Bowl's parade. And then here is what Stephen Ross had to say about the 14th coach in Miami Dolphins history. Stephen Ross said, I'm very excited to have Mike as our new head coach. It's clear he's an out-of-the-box thinker and takes a different approach to problem solving. He's a leader, innovator, and a collaborator. So short, sweet, to the point by Stephen Ross, but an endorsement for the homie, Mike McDaniel. You love it. You love it. You love it. Okay, so let's get into I got two articles I want to go over here. One was from today, one was from yesterday. And it's I wanted to talk about, Dan Orlovsky called. I want y'all to see what Dan Orlovsky said about Mike McDaniel. So let's get into this. This is a Barry Jackson article from yesterday. And this is what he had to say. So let's start off here. We said a 6-pack of Dolphin notes on Monday in the wake of Miami's hiring of coach Mike McDaniel. Dolphins management preferred to find a coach who believed he could mold Tua Tagovailoa into something more and maximize his strengths. They have found one with McDaniel. NFL Network's Peter Schrager said he spoke with McDaniel this weekend and reports that the Dolphins' new coach is very high on Tua. Per Schrager, McDaniel told Stephen Ross and general manager Chris Grier, I'm going to maximize what Tua can do best. I'm not going to think Tua is going to hold us back. Woo! Let's go, baby. All in. All in. Because the best, I see people that don't want Tua to. It's funny. The same people who don't want Tua to succeed are the same people who don't want, like, the Mike McDaniel hire. What, are you afraid that he's going to get Tua right? What's the deal? Because listen, if he gets Tua right, we didn't waste a 5th-round draft pick. If he gets Tua right, we're going to the playoffs. How can these... I don't understand how these people can wake up in the morning, call themselves Dolphin fans, and then go on these different platforms, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, whatever, bash the new head coach or bash the quarterback. It's ridiculous, man. Like, it's just as ugly as all these people trying to hop back onto the train that wanted nothing to do with Mike. Bro, I got receipts of these people saying they're on the Mike McDaniel train right now when they said, we're telling people they wanted Kellen Moore over Mike McDaniel. Stop it right now. Okay? Schrager said McDaniel made the case for why Tua can be the quarterback there. He had answers for what he wants to do with Tua. Though McDaniel wasn't specifically coaching the quarterbacks, Washington's Robert Griffin III and Atlanta's Matt Ryan happened to have their best seasons when McDaniel was working as an offensive assistant with those teams. Jimmy Garoppolo played generally well this past season. McDaniel's first as the 49ers offensive coordinator after 4 years as a run game coordinator. Garoppolo had a 98.7 passer rating with 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions this season. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky was effusive in his praise of McDaniel. The Dolphins just hired the next Andy Reid. Bold statement. He's grown up in the Kyle Shanahan system longer than anyone in the NFL. He is going to change and innovate this offense that for 40 years hasn't needed to. Orlovsky said he hasn't had personal interaction with McDaniel, but NFL people that Orlovsky knows says that he's got this great vision that people buy into. They rave and say he's as good at an X and O guy as there is in the NFL. And if he's never met him personally, someone told him they got the next Andy Reid. Orlovsky noted that Tua spent his time in Alabama playing under Steve Sarkisian, who ran Kyle Shanahan's offense. Mike McDaniel will be running his version of the Shanahan offense. Tua will be very, very, very comfortable in the system and scheme. ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum noted the 49ers completed 33 of 40 passes on designed rollouts with 6 TDs this past season. That's something Tagovailoa does well, and the Dolphins figured to do more of. Then there's this from former 49ers Pro Bowl offensive tackle Joe Staley, who retired in April 2020 after working with McDaniel for 3 seasons. He is a genius, Staley told. And Joe Staley, top 10, top 15 lineman in the last 20 years? 15, 20 years? He is a genius, Staley told Sky Sports. It's surprising people are just figuring out how much he does behind the scenes. Kyle Shanahan gets a lot of the attention because he is the offensive mastermind and pieces everything together. The construction of a lot of the plays, especially the run game, is through Mike McDaniel and has been a long time. He's a wizard when it comes to different personnel groupings, formations, how to utilize people, how to put them in position to succeed. That's what you want as a coach. It's not surprising to me now he's getting a chance. He definitely deserves it. He's a great leader, communicator, all the things you look for in a head coach. One 49ers player conveyed that the public praise of McDaniel is genuine and not the byproduct of players feeling compelled to praise coaches with whom they've worked with. Everybody recognizes his sharp offensive mind. Dolphins running back Duke Johnson told WSVN's Donovan Campbell on Sunday night that he has spoken to other NFL players about McDaniel, and everyone is excited, especially guys who have played for him. Very creative, good coach. The way he runs the ball, creates the best matchups for his offense. I hope I have an opportunity to play for him. Johnson, an impending unrestricted free agent, said of Brian Flores' firing, "It was tough for the team, them more than me. I got here late in the season, but a lot of guys were hurt by the decision. But we all understand it's a business. Under Flores, we were not going to get pushed around or bullied. Guys love Flo and appreciate what he's done." You should have pushed around and bullied. You should have talked to your defense against the Titans, bud. Don't be surprised if the Dolphins pursue 49ers running back Raheem Mostert, which was brought up earlier in the day. This came out at night. That was brought up earlier in the day by the homie Eric Crocker. An impending unrestricted free agent, according to a 49ers person, McDaniel thinks very highly of Mostert. Mostert turns 30 in April, played briefly for 6 teams, including Miami, before blossoming with the Niners, ironically under Mike McDaniel. He sustained a season-ending knee injury in 2020 regular season opener, but is expected to be fully healed for the start of the 2022 season. His 5.7 yards per carry career average on 284 carries, would be the highest among active players if he had enough carries to qualify. He had 29 carries for a franchise postseason record, 229 yards in the 49ers' 2020 NFC championship game win against Green Bay. That was the second most rushing yards in NFL postseason history, behind only Eric Dickerson's 248 in 1986. For those believing McDaniel's hiring will result in the Dolphins selecting a running back high in the draft, that's not necessarily the case. None of the 49ers' leading rushers during McDaniel's tenure were high draft picks. In fact, San Francisco drafted only 2 backs in the past 5 drafts, both in 2021. Trey Sermon in the 3rd round and Elijah Mitchell in the 6th. McDaniel, of course, wasn't making the selections. General manager John Lynch and coach Kyle Shanahan made the personnel decisions. The 49ers found the running backs mostly in free agency during McDaniel's time there. 2018, they gave a 4-year, $30 million contract to former Vikings 3rd-round pick Jerick McKinnon, who subsequently missed 2 seasons with a major knee injury. In 2019, they gave a 2-year, $10 million deal to former Falcons 3rd-rounder Tevin Coleman, who averaged just 3.6 yards per carry in his 2 years in San Francisco and will again be a free agent in March after averaging 4.2 yards per carry on 84 carries for the Jets last season. Oh, another one here, Jeff Wilson, also an impending free agent, was signed by San Francisco as an undrafted free agent out of North Texas in 2018. Wilson has had a good career, averaging 4.2 yards per carry on 298 carries with 35 catches for 296 yards. That is another name to watch on the free agency list who might be a sneaky sly pickup, and that's Jeff Wilson, because they'll get him for cheap, right? Like, they will get him for cheap. So, a little interesting article full of notes from Barry Jackson there. And then, people have been wondering what the offense is going to look like in Miami. And, Joe Schad actually put out a pretty decent article. I've kind of fallen back on him ever since he was on Big O like that and couldn't explain certain football things. So it's hard to know if McDaniel will become another Sean McVay or another Kyle Shanahan, or who knows, perhaps another Mike Shanahan. The Dolphins will soon introduce their new head coach, and one thing it seems certain McDaniel will bring to South Florida. One thing it seems certain McDaniel will bring to South Florida is a proven offensive plan. McDaniel once worked with McVay in Washington and Kyle Shanahan in Washington and San Francisco. So they're all from this fruitful tree that has spurred efficient quarterback play and impressive yards per rush and plenty of points. Yes, Matt LaFleur and Zach Taylor are from that tree too. And McVay's Rams will face Zach Taylor's Bengals in Sunday's Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Guys, I'll be live for the Super Bowl. We'll be live reacting to it. I might bring some people up here and we'll just chill and live react to the game. The offenses these coaches employ are heavily inspired by former Denver and Washington head coach Mike Shanahan. It's an offense strategy dating back to the 1980s that has been evolved and tweaked by these savvy young coaches. The system, once featured in Mike Shanahan's Super Bowl wins in Denver, is anchored by the wide zone play, a horizontal run play that attempts to stretch the defense enough to find vertical running seam. Think about those times you've seen a running back gliding laterally to a specific point, planting a foot, and accelerating upfield. That's the base play. This week, McVay was complimenting Miami's choice of McDaniel as head coach. Yes, McVay said he's happy to have former 49ers offensive coordinator out of his division. McVay cited McDaniel as a great communicator, smart, creative, and innovative. Both the run game and the pass game, McVay said. He gets a lot of credit for being involved in the run game, but when we work together in Washington, he's a guy that really sees the game through the totality of all 22. That's my boy. All 22 or nothing, baby. Not just what are the offensive guys doing, but what are the roles and responsibilities of the defense? How can we capitalize on some of the things that they're being coached to do to take advantage of that and try to manipulate their rules and put them in conflict with their eyes? Coaches have built upon that foundation and the staples of the Mike Shanahan offense for years. They tweak, they add, they enhance. Surely Mike McDaniel will formulate his own iteration of an offense he thinks gives the Dolphins the best chance to win in his rookie season, but its roots are likely to be pulled from the Shanahan offense, which is amazing, considering McDaniel was once a ball boy for Mike Shanahan's Broncos. Here are 10 things to know about Mike Shanahan's offense McDaniel has mastered, one that's been fine-tuned by Kyle Shanahan, Mike's son. At its core, the Shanahan offense is aggressive and seeks big plays. This is not about conservative ball control offense. Oh, sure, there are times where one must do that to win a game, but the goal is an aggressive attack that couples wide zone blocking runs with big pass plays. That's the intent. Inside zone, outside zone, entirely or almost exclusively. The run game is not overly complicated, but effective. There is a great amount of time spent on perfecting the intricacies of the spacing, timing, blocks, coordination, and orchestration. It's those small details that allow a 3-yard gain to turn into a 17-yard gain. Miami had too many 3-yard gains in 2022 and not nearly enough of the 17-yard variety. Another goal of the offense is to limit third downs as much as possible by attacking the sticks on first and second downs, and of course, to avoid third and long at all costs. The running game sets up the pass, which I've been telling you to his game. Passing game needs to be predicated off the run game. I've been saying that since we drafted him. What have I been saying? Since we drafted Tua, I've said go back to his last year against LSU. The first half, they put it all onto his shoulders. The second half, they unleashed Najee, and what happens? Tua starts uncorking against the LSU defense and lights up the number one corner in the country at that time, Derek Stingley. The running game sets up the pass. At a time when so much of the emphasis on NFL offense is passing, this offense is focusing on establishing an effective and powerful run. This is great news for the Dolphins, which have been poor rushing team for years. McDaniel is a run game expert. The Dolphins figure to use zone blocking concepts. In zone blocking, all the linemen move in unison to attack the defensive front. Last year, Miami used a man blocking scheme, and all too often the men were overwhelmed by opponents. This new scheme might benefit athletic linemen like Austin Jackson and Robert Hunt, which I've been saying. At times, linemen will be called upon to cut block an opponent. McDaniel's offensive line hire will be critical. Play action passing is key. The Dolphins emphasized the play action pass last season, and it's a good thing too. Tagovailoa enjoys that because it figures to be a big part of Miami's 2020 offense. We can't say for sure exactly how McDaniel might blend in some of the run pass option concepts Tagovailoa used last season. But remember that the Shanahans once incorporated Robert Griffin's zone read strengths into a successful offense. Heavy emphasis will be played on what gives Tua the best chance to improve and strive closer to draft expectations. As noted by ESPN's Dan Orlovsky, Tua operated a Shanahan-like system under Steve Sarkisian in Alabama. It's hard to count how many offensive coordinators Tua had in college in the NFL, but that's really not atypical. The Sarkisian exposure might help. Tua will need to show enough progress throughout the season to merit a return as a starter in 2023 when Miami holds 2 first-round draft picks. One thing McDaniel may try to do is allow Tagovailoa more plays and or series with increased up tempo. Tua has performed well with tempo in his fledgling career. The offense favors speed and athleticism over size. Every NFL team craves speed at the running back and receiver positions, but this offense really emphasized stockpiling the speedsters. McDaniel will want receivers who can tap into their speed to create open space. Look for Miami to add at least one nimble receiver who can excel on post routes. In the same way they hoped free agent disappointment Will Fuller would last season. McDaniel will want running backs who can make one cut and dart upfield through a pre-planned lane. Think vintage Broncos rushing attack. That's what Miami wants. Downhill, a disciplined runner processing burst and acceleration. McDaniel has helped discover many unheralded running backs that have had success in the system. While it might be a nice change of pace to invest in a touted running back, the system has proven that success in the run game can be generated with later round or even undrafted picks. Athleticism will be a priority on the offensive line. The ability to move well laterally is fundamental. Some plays from multiple formations. The key to success is creating looks that don't allow a defense to diagnose the play that is coming. What does that mean? Well, it means Miami will run many of the same plays from different formations, and they will run many variations of a play from the same formation too. You think you know what's coming? Oh yeah, no you don't. McDaniel's considered an expert, and I talk about this all the time, right? False keys, setting up false keys. That's why I wanted, Rhino remembers, that's why I wanted someone, offensive coordinator last year, who emphasized more motion, especially at the snap, because I wanted to set up false keys. You look at what the Ravens and the Rams have done, a lot of false key stuff. McDaniel's considered an expert at designing run game plans that set up the defense to fail. If McDaniel calls the plays for Miami, which has been heavily considered, it will be exciting to see in-game strategies develop and unfold. Jets coach Robert Saleh went so far as to call his former colleague, the Yale-educated McDaniel, brilliant. One staple of the Shanahan offense is that you can set up a high percentage intermediate passing route after using wide zone runs a few times. When the flow of the offense is going all in one direction, the quarterback is booted the other way, and he could strike an open receiver running across the field. Some believe Tua Tagovailoa was underutilized on rollouts in 2020. Generating more yards after the catch. 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo led the entire NFL in yards after the catch per completion this season. By comparison, Tagovailoa was 29th. In this offense, wide receiver blocking is paramount. So is tight end blocking. And remember, me and Crocker talked about this yesterday, which would put Mike Gesicki's return in jeopardy. In this offense, there's a tremendous emphasis on ball location by the quarterback and the receiver best positioning himself to gain extra yards after the catch. That's something Tua and Jalen Waddle and the entire Dolphins offense must absolutely be better at in 2022. Testing the bounds of creativity. Receiver Deebo Samuel in the backfield? Sure, why not? Offensive tackle Trent Williams out of the backfield and in motion? Sure, why not? Backwards pitches to running backs instead of out wide? Let's do it until they show they can stop it. The 49ers are focused on generating any matchup problem they can, and in doing so, they are not afraid to take chances. This is not a fear that some outside-the-box concept might fail and appear silly. There's no way to live, and quite frankly, new ideas can be energizing for players, coaches, and fans. Miami's offense has not only been subpar for years, it has been quite boring. That should change. Room for blocking tight ends and fullbacks? Best believe we're looking for a fullback. Remember when the Dolphins actually drafted a fullback? That was Chandler Cox in the 7th round in 2019. It really didn't work out for Cox or the Dolphins, but the intent of Brian Flores and Chad O'Shea was to add a physical blocker. In this offense, a fullback has a place. It's possible Ethan Carter if he's on the roster, Durham Smythe if he returns, or Adam Shaheen could be utilized some in blocking roles out of the backfield. It also seems likely the Dolphins will try to bring Smythe back. He's a strong blocker and has improved as a receiver as well. Another thing the 49ers have done well is use condensed formations to their advantage. That's when running backs, receivers, and or tight ends are bunched near the offensive linemen who can also limit their spacing. This can create additional run lanes, cause defensive confusion, and create matchups with defenders ill-equipped to handle dispersed receiving threats. Or 2 running back sets, screens, motions, and shifts. Ryan Smith, the Pro Football Focus, did some quality research looking into trends from the 2021 49ers and Dolphins offense. 3 things jump out. The 49ers had 2 or more running backs utilized 25% of the time, second only to New England. The Dolphins used 2 or more running backs only 6% of the time, which ranks 24th. The 49ers called design screen passes 12% of the time, 10th in the NFL. Miami used design screen passes 8.3%, 27th in the NFL. And obviously, even more screen calls should benefit Jalen Waddle. And finally, the Dolphins had an emphasis on pre-snap motions and shifts last season. In fact, they did so 57% of the time, 10th in the league. But what if we told you the 49ers used motions and shifts 82% of the time, leading the NFL? Obviously, this will provide Tagovailoa a chance to better identify what defenses may do when the play begins. Kyle Shanahan, 49ers think Trey Lance adds another dimension. Although Jimmy Garoppolo led the 49ers to a Super Bowl under Shanahan, the 49ers traded up with Miami to select Trey Lance with the 3rd pick. Why? Well, Garoppolo's ceiling is limited and Lance's isn't. You want to find a Drew Brees who can move like Lamar Jackson, Shanahan said of the ideal quarterback. While Shanahan's offense has been successful, while Shanahan's offense has been successful with quarterbacks that do not possess dynamic arm or scrambling talent, Shanahan was intrigued by Lance, who has both. How will McDaniel come to assess Tua's strengths and his ceiling? We'll likely find out in 2022, which I've been saying. This is going to be the year where we find out. Will Tua be able to hit consistently on the deep passes built in this offense? In this offense, quarterbacks without enormous physical tools, Garoppolo, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, have experienced great success. Tua will be expected to take a massive leap. If he does, the Dolphins could conceivably hold off on a search to replace him. McDaniel's arrival should improve Tua's chances. Hey, if anyone's going to fix Tua and get the situation right, it's going to be Mike McDaniel. I'm going to tell you that right now. And you saw they were talking about how woeful our defense has been as of lately. Well, I got a point to that. Shout out, I got a donation here. Lewis, any chance of Finside meetup at 1? Yes, sir. Oh, I'm going to be at training camp this year, and we are going to be at games this year. Don't worry. I was going to be at the Houston game this year, but something came up. I'll be out there next year. Don't you worry. The Watch Mr. 999. If the Giants part ways with Saquon, should we make a move and spend our draft capital on O-line? The only thing I don't like about that, Watch Mr., is Saquon isn't the guy he was 3 years ago, even 4 years ago. That's my issue right now. Saquon isn't that guy. Now, if it was 3 or 4 years ago, all my chips would be in. All my chips would be in on Saquon Barkley. 110%. I would be on board. But, let's use our money on, I think let's use our financial capital on building this O-line. We got enough youth. It's time to blend some veterans in. Philip Leduc, what free agent receiver or running back you see as a perfect fit? It's Cordell Patterson. He's going to be on my list. Now you're seeing everything come together with the coaches. Cordell Patterson, 110%. Cordell Patterson. All right. So Joe Shad talked about how bad our defense. Well, just how woeful was our defense? We have the longest active drought in the NFL without a top 10 defense. We haven't had a top 10 defense since 1995. We have not had a top flight defense in 27 years. 27 years. Guys, we knew it was bad. Did we know it was this bad? Holy. 27 years without a top 10 offense. Yeah, I said offense. What do you mean? What did I say? Defense? No, I said offense. We have not, I'm pretty sure. Didn't I say offense? Did I say defense? I meant offense. My bad if I said defense. We have 27 years since we've had a top 10 offense. My bad if I said defense. I meant offense. My bad. Jesus, good golly almighty. See? When people say I can't admit it, I'm wrong, I can admit when I'm wrong. I said defense clearly because so many of you are backing it up. Top 10 offense. It has been 27 years since we've had a top 10 offense. That is ridiculous. I'm ready for that to change. Braden, I think Patterson, what is it? Patterson 6'2"? So I think Patterson's like 6'2". So let me scream it again. 27 years since we've had a top 10 offense. Are you crazy right now? Perfect Q. It's okay. Reason the insanity can eat away at your brain. Yeah, for sure. No doubt, eh? So, 27 years. Oh, they checked it up. Yeah, 6'2". So there you go. Verified 6'2". 27 years. Come on, man. It's got to happen one year, baby. Let this be the year. If this man turns around, hires Vic Fangio, our defense is top 15, top 10, and he gives us a top 10 offense, oh my God. Please. Hey, we might have had a top 10 rushing offense, Ricky, when Ricky was around, but I'm going to tell you right now, that quarterback play, we were definitely not a top 10 offense with quarterback play. Because think of it, you need to be top 10 in rushing and passing to have a top 10 offense. Or, if you want to go by yards, in total yards, right? So they're talking about total offense. So they're talking about total yards. So again, I got to have good quarterback play even if you get top 10 rushing because, yardage combining total yards, right? So, hopefully this changes. I'm going out on a limb. This drought will be over in the next 2 years. Roy, if we get a 12th to 14th ranked offense in year one, I'm happier than a pig in you-know-what. But here we go. This will change in the next 2 years. I'm putting my ass on the line for that one. And finally, guys, I had to cover this. Listen. Brian Flores, you have absolutely zero class. Zero class with how you handled Lovie Smith yesterday. When I read this statement I was so disappointed in Brian Flores. I was more disappointed in Brian Flores than the 7-game losing streak, than when I heard all the stuff I heard about him with Tua. When I read this, and this backhanded compliment when another minority coach is hired, this guy basically comes out. I'll read it for y'all. Let's read this. This is from, and the fact that his lawyers even said this was a good idea to put out. Listen, you want to release this if Josh McCown gets hired? By all stretch of the imagination, drop it. I would agree with you 110%. But you coming for Lovie? You're coming for Lovie Smith, the man who went to the Super Bowl with Kyle Orton and Rex Grossman, Brian Flores. You couldn't get there with Tua, let alone could you get there with Rex Grossman and Kyle Orton, and you're out here backhanded complimenting Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith is as qualified as anyone to be a head coach in the NFL. Mr. Flores is happy to hear that the Texans have hired a black head coach, Lovie Smith, as Mr. Flores' goal in bringing his case is to provide real opportunities for black and minority candidates to be considered for coaching an executive position with the NFL. Okay, that's fine. I'm with you, Brian. Now you got to throw in the but. However, we would be remiss not to mention that Mr. Flores was one of 3 finalists for the Texans head coach position, and after a great interview and mutual interest, it is obvious that the only reason Mr. Flores was not selected was his decision to stand up against racial inequality across the NFL. Is this really happening right now? Is this serious? Is Brian Flores for real? The disrespect for Lovie Smith. See, now people are seeing the guy I was told you were behind the scenes, Brian. You ain't happy. You just backhanded commented the crap out of this guy. This man was an NFL coach for 8 years. Smith's been to a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator for the Rams and a head coach for the Chicago Bears. And you're going to say that about him? You're going to insinuate, you're going to imply you're more qualified? Absolutely. I'm going to tell you right now, Brian. Lovie Smith more qualified than you. Lovie Smith more qualified than Mike McDaniel. Lovie Smith more qualified than Josh McDaniels. You want me to go even that far? You're more qualified than Josh McDaniels. The only one you can argue that was hired this cycle, Doug Peterson. Jim Caldwell. Like, it's unreal. All I'm saying, don't even put out that statement. Why are you even opening yourself up to that? Should have just left it alone. You should have just left it alone. But instead, you got to disrespect a coach of color when coaches of color are who you're trying to make a change for. Now, hey, if he would have dropped that exact same statement with Josh McCown, I wouldn't even be talking about it because he would have been 110% right. He would have been 110% right. I wouldn't even have said a damn word. You wouldn't have heard, whoop. I wouldn't have said it. I would have said, this guy's right. Rome Great. Tony Dungy, I guarantee, respects Lovie because they faced off in the first Super Bowl of 2 black head coaches. That's slapping both of them and the black head coaches who paved the way. Wasn't Lovie a linebackers coach under Tony Dungy too? He's part of the Dungy tree. But anyways, listen. This guy, you just listen. There needs to be a time where you just need to lay back and let things happen as they may. And Lovie Smith getting a job should be celebrated, not be full of backhand comments. That's terrible. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. So this is just a classless act. I'm sorry. I think that was classless. Celebrate. Don't tear it down. This is the problem with Dolphins Twitter and this Dolphins community. Everyone wants to tear everyone down. Oh, he said something? Let's go attack him and tear him down. Same shit. Elevate. Don't tear it down, man. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to drop a link if a couple of you guys want to come back and chop it up backstage. But I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate each and every one of you spending some of your Tuesday night with me. I'm going to be back either tomorrow or Thursday. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'll keep y'all posted. I'll let y'all know. Expect me. Right? If anything breaks tomorrow, if we make a hire, I'll be back. But yeah, until then, until next time, everyone, appreciate y'all. You already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. Have a blessed Tuesday and enjoy your hump day tomorrow. All right? Take it easy, everyone. And I see we already got some people backstage, so I'll talk to a few of you in a few minutes. And yeah, appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Fins up, baby.